Hey, welcome back to our eBay top sales series. I made an adjustment this month, so I wanted to start testing some PowerPoint presentations formats for the series, and I'm also dropping from 30 to 25 cards. That way I can give you guys more detail on the cards rather than kind of just winging it on eBay. So we're going to be taking a look at Olympics cards that sold in June and a few criteria that I have set for this video. So there's no restriction on years, so any Olympic sport is allowed. The reason for the lack of restrictions is there's not Olympic cards produced every single year. It's not like baseball or football where you have multiple releases. There's only so limited amount of cards. But that being said, I am not including anything baseball, basketball, boxing, or soccer. I count them as their own categories. Now, I know I don't have any boxing or soccer videos here on the channel. I may expand out the series to include those in the future or have an alternative sports for boxing. Olympics, I'm just going to have every 2 years when the Olympic Games are on. Okay. Jim Thorpe cards are allowed. Jim Thorpe does have baseball and football cards, but I view him as an Olympian first before baseball player or a football player. So he's allowed in the series. And I allow any graded or raw cards. So with that being said, I did make a few changes as well. I wanted to put a little bit of information about the subject on each of these cards rather than saying I don't know who the person is. And also we now have the card number. So on the top right, you can see this is the 25th best selling card this month. And so that way you guys know where you're at in the numbers. So first we have Jordan. I think the last name is Weiber or Weber. A gymnast won a 2012 gold medal. Sold price was slightly under $60. There's actually quite a few in this like $59.99 to like $70 range in the beginning. And this is just an on-card auto of a base card. You can see the trading card label, which this card you can no longer sell on PWCC/Fanatics Collect. I'm always going to call it PWCC. It's been around forever. Kind of missed that name though. Up next, we have Bob Mathis. He was both a Olympian and also a politician. Won 2 gold medals. He does have earlier cards, by the way. This is a 1956 Adventure, sold for $60, and the highest graded you can find in this card is a PSA 9. Next, we have Chloe Kim, also sold for $60. Snowboarder won 2 gold medals. This is an on-card auto. I believe it's 2021 Skybox Metal. I think I said on-card. This looks like a sticker, but I meant to say like it's not this first card right over here where it wasn't pack inserted. Okay, now we're on Billy Mills. I saw online that no one knew who this was before he ran the race. Essentially, he won the 10K gold medal, which there hasn't really been any 10K winners within the United States on the gold medal side of things. We're not actually really known for that event. I consider 10K short distance, but on the track side of things, it's considered a longer distance. Regardless, he was also a U.S. Marine, and this one sold for $60. Nija Houston, I think that's how I pronounce it. If I pronounce it wrong, please let me know. I'll try to fix it for other videos. Skateboarder. He hasn't won any medals in Olympic Games, but he is going this year. I think he competed once before, but he has won 15 X Games gold medals, considered one of the best out there. And this is a gold refractor 2020 Allen Ginter Chrome. PSA 10 sold for $62. And Carl Lewis, who I consider one of the greatest runners of all time, competed in 5 different Olympic Games, 9 gold medals. This is an on-card auto. I believe this was actually after the card was produced by Gaudi, based off of the seller. So I don't know if it was authenticated or not, but he had a bunch of them listed for $63.74. Okay, up next we have a Duke Kanemaku, popularly surfing and a 5X medal winner at the Olympics, part of Hawaiian culture, probably one of their most significant historical figures from the island. And this PSA 10 sold for $65. There's a few 10s out there. All right, we have a Dan Gable. Now, Dan Gable recently won, or not won, but was awarded a Medal of Freedom. He won the gold medal in 1972 Olympics and was listed as one of the best wrestlers of all time. Another one of these 1991 MPAL cards. There's no mistaking that this card is a real card, although PSA labeled it obviously as a trading card. Still one of the big mistakes PSA made, but That goes back to that PWCC Fanatics situation. Lindsey Vaughn. So this was a certified autograph card from 2014 Topps. Competed in 4 Olympic Games, won 3 medals, and this one sold for $65.95. Another Duke, popularized surfing 5X medal winner. We already talked about that a little bit earlier. I'm going to skip over it for other Duke cards, but this one sold slightly under $70. It is a Pop 3. The M&Ms are actually a bit rarer than some of the other 1983 Topps Olympic game cards. I think it's like 1/5 the Pop report. So if you do see the M&Ms, they go for a little bit more of a premium. And obviously the highest graded is 10. Nancy Kerrigan won 2 medals. She was actually famous for a story where a competitor's family hit her in the knee with a baton. I was reading up, and huge controversy because the competitor essentially got banned. This one sold for $99. I believe also the seller had multiple of these available. Babe Didrikson. I put her last name as well as Zaharis. I think that's how I pronounce it. Widely considered one of the greatest female athletes of all time. Golf, basketball, and track runner. Won 2 gold medals, but probably most famous for golfing. You'll see it a little bit later in the video. This copy, I do apologize for the image. That's what the seller posted on eBay, but it sold for $99. Jesse Owens, you're going to see him a ton also in this video, especially as prices climb. This one, the Mullen Frank. He was a 4-time gold medals, all in the 1936 Olympic Games. This sold for $125. Highest graded on this card is a PSA 8. Johnny Weissmuller, the original Tarzan. He was a big movie star, but also what some people don't realize is he won 5 gold medals. And because he was a swimmer, he got those acting roles. Regardless, this one sold for $129. There's a total pop on these 33 Sports Kings of the Johnny Weissmuller of slightly under $400, with the highest being out there of a PSA 9. The most recent 3 sale was a PSA 3 that sold for $100. Another 1936 Mullen Frank of Jesse Owens. This one sold for $141. What you'll notice with a lot of the German cards is there's multiple subjects within a set. You'll see a little bit later in Honorable Mentions, but for example, like this Frank one, I think Owens is in there like 4 times. Pat Kremer, probably mispronouncing this, but a 6. This one sold for $287. We're scaling up pretty fast, and we are now entering our top 10. Number 9, we have a real photo postcard of Duke Kanemaku. This actually sold, I think, a month or 2 before as a buy it now, and I missed this card. I wish I purchased it, and I missed it again. I eventually will grab it. I think it's a pretty awesome image. Our real photo postcards, they're kind of like type 1s or type 2 photos, essentially, just depending. And there's a lot of limited production behind them, so finding them can be pretty tough. But regardless, this one sold for $295. I will say grading companies are kind of iffy on grading some of these postcards, but I think they're personally really, really cool pieces. Another Jesse Owens, Siddle Werkel Theigel. I probably 100% butchered this, but this sold for $299. Simon Biles, 7X gold medals, going back to Olympics again this year. This is an on-card autograph, not pack inserted, and this one sold for $300. Another Duke over here, 1933 Sports Kings. This set, by the way, has a ton of Olympians, and also baseball players, right? There's the Ruth and Gehrig in that set. Ruth and Cobb in that set. But this sold price was $446. Again, pop slightly under $400, and there's a PSA 9. The last 2s, there's a wide range in 2 prices, right? Another 2 sold for $480. Another 2 sold for $372. Personally, I think this looks like a very good looking 2. If this got submitted years ago, this would probably be an 8-4. So I think this was a pretty good buy. Another Babe, this one, she's playing golf. But again, she won 2 gold medals, so that's why it is included in here. And the sold price was slightly under $500. These are actually hand-cut cards. I know it mentions it on the slab, but you can find a wide variety of sports and athletes on these, and there's a ton of different sheets. By the way, that was starting our top 5. Number 4, we have a 1955 Jim Thorpe, 2 gold medals. Most people know him from his Olympic story where he had 2 different mismatched shoes. This 6 sold for $503. This is also one of the first top sets of football cards. Charles Dutroll, first Winter Olympics gold medal, the first event and the first winner. So that's why he's kind of popular in there. Sold price $560 for this 7. What I find pretty interesting, the highest grade, by the way, is an SGC 9. But what I find interesting is how much this card has ballooned over the years. So I found the last 7 sales were all the way back in 2019. So it has been 5 years. But you look at the PSA and SGC 7, $127 and $81 now. I mean, we're up to $560 in just a few years. Another Jesse Owens, Bramer and Goal. This was a PSA 7. Fantastic slabbing job. This was a great slab, but $586 total pop of 13. The highest one out here is a PSA 8. And the highest sale this week, this was a mislabeled Jesse Owens card. And I try to let you guys know when I see stuff that's mislabeled. But this is really a 1937 Ogdens. They're considered 37 Ogdens, but it's the champions of 1936. There's actually quite a few in the pop report on that side of things. And I wish the grading companies would fix this type of stuff or fix the slabs. I know it's impossible to grab them all, but regardless, this sold for $599. There was a recent sale at $555, and there is a PSA 10 in the pop reports, which is awesome. Now we're going to go over a few honorable mentions here at the end. What I consider honorable mentions, cards that barely missed the top 25 or like sets or boxes. First, Michaela Schifrin. I probably mispronounced this completely. Alpine skier, 2 gold medals. This one sold for $57. Pop 2. And this is a PSA 10. And next we have another Nyjah Houston. We already talked a little bit about him, but $60 for an on-card auto for his 2020 Allen and Ginter. We're going to take a look at 2 sets. So first is Reemsta. These are 1936. You see a lot of Olympics cards. The listing said there's 8 Owens in this full set and 375 total cards. And this sold for $801, which I think is actually a pretty good deal. I mean, if those Owens come back, nice grades, $100 a card is not bad. Also, you still have other athletes in there. Like you have Babe Didrikson. I don't know how many of her cards are in Reemsta, but you still have that. You have all the commons that you could still sell. But it'd be up to you. I mean, I think this could also be pretty nice if you could get them slabbed or certified by Baseball Card Exchange, because I doubt there's a lot of these out there. I could be wrong. There's a lot of stuff that always gets sourced out of Germany, but I think this was an awesome piece. And then lastly, 2020 Topps US Olympic and Paralympics. Just want to show you guys a box on this side of things. 24 packs, 3 hits, $59. There's actually some wrestling and soccer autos. Some of the female soccer players go for a lot of money. And there's a wrestler in there. I think it was Kurt Vile that also sells quite a bit. So that's it for this video. If you do want to help build out some of these videos, not specifically like the eBay stuff, because I have this mostly covered, but kind of the set series is to try to educate people, please let me know. Because I always could use help on that side of things. Just shoot me a message, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, email. And I do want to thank the following channel members: Paul Stanford, Gal Somerville, Alaska Picker, and Aaron Herbert. And that'll be it for this video. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. I upload about 8 of these eBay top series videos every single month, and I have a lot more other videos. All right, see you in the next one.